Little Treasure is a pretty good film. I didn't love all of it. It had a really strong first third, and then it kind of slowed down a bit, and then it really picked back up again. So, in general, I thought this was a pretty good film. This was released in 1985. It's directed and written by Alan Sharp, and we have a cast including Margot Kidder as Margo, Ted Danson as Eugene Wilson, and Burt Lancaster as Margot's father. And initially, I wasn't sure if I'd enjoy it based on the concept. It sounded vaguely interesting, but I wasn't sure. It would depend on what direction they took with it. But I'm pleased to say that actually it was really quite compelling. Margo meets Eugene Wilson at the beginning of the film, and Margo is trying to find her father. And her father is in Mexico, and Eugene Wilson agrees to drive her to this location, and she meets her father quite early on in the film, and her father reveals to her that there is some money buried for her. And I won't go into the backstory. We have quite an interesting backstory, so I don't want to give away too much about it. And the rest of the film is Margo and Eugene trying to find this money and the various problems along the way and the journey that they go on. I'll be honest, that part of it I didn't care that much for. I've mentioned this many times with other films, but I'm not really a fan of road trip films in general. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. And obviously a bulk of that we are traveling, and it didn't really appeal to me. I also, the relationship between Margo and Eugene Wilson was sometimes interesting and to my liking, and sometimes it wasn't. So that's something else that I didn't completely love, but it definitely wasn't something that I didn't like. So there's nothing about this that doesn't work. There are just parts of it that I enjoyed more than others. Cast, obviously fantastic. It's because of Ted Danson that I decided to watch this. Would I have liked it as much if it wasn't Ted Danson? I think I would have liked it a little bit less. I am willing to admit that there were certain times when I was enjoying it because I was enjoying watching Ted Danson. That's not to say another actor wouldn't have done as good a job, but I'm aware that at times maybe my love of Ted Danson made me like it a little bit more than I might otherwise have done. But nevertheless, I still thought that it was a pretty good film. Definitely a well-written narrative. Really interesting characters, and for the most part I really thoroughly enjoyed it, and I will say no more than that about it, as I don't want to give it away. I think it's worth watching. It may not be the most engaging for me personally all of the way throughout, but generally speaking, Little Treasure was a decent experience, and if it sounds like something that might appeal to you, or if you're interested in any of the cast, then I'd say it's one that's worth watching.